Welcome to Warrior Woodshop. My name is Mr. Rodaway, and if you're clicking on this video, I bet you it's that time of year again. You're interested in making the holiday crossword unofficial. We've made 20 or 25 this season for friends and family of the Warrior Woodshop and some of the students. We design ours. We subscribe to the Cuttle website. You could do it manually if you're good at designing, but the amount of production we need to do at the design time, it's worth it to pay the subscription fee and use them to make them. So these are what we're talking about. They're technically crossword, puzzle, ornaments, but they kind of resemble that board games most of us know as Scrabble. You can see we've got some up here on our screen we're getting ready to cut out. We have two different lasers that we use. Our first ones were made on a D1 Pro. That was a 14 by 14 cutting area. We could get 4 to 5 depending on the diameter we make. Then we make them all the way down to 3.5. The stock is 4.5 on Cuttle. We've made a couple of 12-inch ones for the grandmas and grandpas out there. Because by the time you cram the names into a 4 or 6-inch ornament, it gets pretty tight. Our S1 that we just got a few weeks ago, we've made half of them on there. We just had to give it a try out today for the first time. We can get a 12 by 18 cutting area, 4 to 5, depending on the size we make them. But let's go over the settings on our two machines. Our S1, we're going to score, which is the blue, 50%, 150 millimeters a second. You could separate the lines in between the letters and the scoring of the back. We did kind of critique it and go, if those are a little bit lighter, you're not meant to see them anyways, and if you're off just a little bit in assembly, it's noticeable. So a lighter score there. It would take setting up a new layer or a new setting for the background piece. It is what it is there. Our engraving is 50, 150 also. So we kind of use that as a standard setting. We're using 3mm basswood for ours. And our cut is 75%, 10 millimeters per second. Gets done in one pass on the S1. Now, switching over to our D1 Pro, we use 80% power, 50 millimeters per second for the scoring and engraving. We have to use 100% power. Again, remember this is 10 water and 5 passes, 5 millimeters a second. So it takes quite a bit more time. The D1 will do a 14 by 14 square with 4 or 5 ornaments in about 2 hours. The S1 will do a 12 by 18 in about 30 minutes. So there's a significant time saving. If you're looking for these production for a craft fair, you're going to want to spend the money and get the S1 laser if you don't have it already. We've bought ours both used. Make sure that you get to see them if you're going to buy yours used. So let's show you how we put these together after they're been all cut out. If we're not using a separate plywood, one of our go-tos for the 3mm basswood or birch is Minwax's Golden Oak Stain. There are other companies that make similar colors. Another one we use is dark walnut. The longer you leave it on, the darker the back will get. Or some of the acrylic paints for a colored background. One of our secret weapons is to put each one in its own little baggie. That way when you get to the stain table, they stay together and you can play puzzles to get them to match. Got one there. I'll flip these over. Just some medium thick CA glue. A small tip would actually benefit us a little bit better, but this one just didn't have it. Like to do the words first. And this is where we were talking, you could score that a little lighter, just enough to see it. But if you're off, you'll have to live with it. So we're not using any activator to give us just a few extra seconds of adjustment. Once I know we're in a good position, hold it for about 10 or 15 seconds. And then get the ring. This is probably the one that we had the most misalignments. That's why we're not using the activator. And then finally, the last step is to give it a clear coat if you're interested. If we're just doing a couple, we will just use the aerosol. But if we're doing a whole batch, then we'll pull out our spray gun where it makes it more worthwhile to clean. All right, after a couple coats of clear, and you give it a good 24 hours or so to fully cure. It's time to hang it on the tree. That'll look good. Well, you know how it goes. Once your family figures out and your friends figure out that you know how to make one, you might as well make them for the whole family. So I bet you that's why you're here watching this video. You wanted to learn how to make these, and hopefully we took care of that, and you're ready to hit the play button or pause button and go off and make your own. But here at the Warrior Woodshop, we've had our laser for about a year and a half, and this is one of the most excited projects, most popular projects that the kids make. They're getting ready to monogram their cutting boards next semester, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, that bell notification, so when we do more with our S1 and D1 Pro lasers, you get notified and can learn from the tips and tricks that we discover ourselves. So when you're done making your ornament and hitting that subscribe button, go out and make some sawdust.